Raven, at her absolute peak, is operating as a high-tier magic user with deep access to soul, emotional, and dimensional forces. She can erase people from reality, teleport between dimensions instantly, contain powerful, magical beings, and shut down multiple minds or emotions at once. Her soul self can phase through matter, restrain beings physically and mentally, and travel astrally across time and space. She has chronokinetic feats, brief time stop, localized reality warping, and large-scale magical barriers that have held up against cosmic-level energy. But despite all this power, Raven is heavily reliant on her emotional equilibrium. Her power source is her emotional state. If she becomes unstable, her powers fluctuate, and in high-stress environments, she's more vulnerable than people realize. Storm, at her peak, is an elemental and electromagnetic master with continental-scale feats. And she doesn't need incantations or prep time to act. She manipulates not just traditional weather, but electrical currents, magnetic fields, temperature, wind shear, atmospheric pressure, and even solar radiation in space. She's flown unaided through space using solar winds, created superstorms that blanketed continents, and used her control over moisture and air to suffocate or dehydrate opponents in seconds. She's disrupted neural activity in human brains with precise bioelectric attacks and neutralized entire battlefields in seconds. And most importantly, Storm's willpower and discipline are elite. She's resisted powerful telepaths, maintained clarity under extreme emotional and physical stress, and her mutant powers don't depend on emotional stability the way Ravens do. Storm wins this fight more often than not. Not because she's more versatile, but because she's faster to act, harder to emotionally destabilize, and can weaponize the entire environment before Raven finishes a spell. Raven's best chance is a direct psychic or soul attack. But if Storm keeps moving, keeps the pressure on, and floods the battlefield with EM chaos, Raven is forced into a defensive posture. And the longer the fight goes, the more likely Raven's emotional control will slip, especially against Storm's overwhelming force and mental resilience. Storm fights like a general, Raven fights like a mystic, and on a battlefield, generals win.